talking to children in schools about where food comes from is super important. In this episode, I talked to Farmer Luke, a Fenland farmer who, in his spare time, chats to primary and secondary school children about food production and career opportunities before heading back to the farm to tend to his crops. Stay tuned for more insight. Hello, welcome to the Countryside Kitchen Meets, a food and farming podcast. I'm Millie Fife, your host. I'm a mum of two, farmer's wife, food producer, and passionate about flying the flag for British food and farming. Today we'll be chatting to Farmer Luke, an arable farmer from Cambridgeshire. Then I've got a few time-saving hacks when it comes to mealtime preparation and some recipes to share, meaning you can juggle family life with the children and cook a tasty, nutritious meal too. Okay. Let me introduce you to my guest. Talented Fenland farmer Luke Abblitt farms at Daintree Farm, Ramsey, St Mary's on the Fens in East Anglia. An NFU community farming hero, Luke is passionate about highlighting the advantages of a career in agriculture and inspiring the next generation. I first met Luke when I was chairman for the National Federation of Young Farmers Clubs. He supported a rural road safety campaign I was championing and represented members of Cambridgeshire young farmers whilst we lobbied the then Minister of Agriculture, Sir Jim Pace MP. Luke is very active on social media with videos detailing life on the farm, and I'm sure we'll talk a lot more about this on the podcast today. So without further ado, let's chat to Luke. Hello, how are you?
Too bad, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. It's so nice to catch up. It's been a long time, hasn't it?
A good few years. Well, it's well over 10 years, isn't it? More than that.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think social media is such a wonderful thing that, you know, we've been able to keep in touch and know what each other's doing. I mean, you're not a million miles away from me either. So, you know, but we literally haven't seen or spoken to each other for probably 10 years.
Yeah, at least, nearly go about 15. But yeah, no, it's really weird.
Yeah, that's it. But farming, I think farming is quite we're well connected and, I think we're good at keeping in touch. And I think especially on Twitter or Instagram, you know, it's very visual and you kind of get a feel for what people are doing.
Definitely, especially with young farmers as well, because you always remember someone from your young farmer days. And it's so weird. It's so weird how it all works because, like, we also have age groups and we're in the same age kind of group, weren't we? So when we was kind of finishing young farmers, we started a family and stuff like that. It's just weird how they kind of parallel within a few years of each other. It's so weird. Yeah,
definitely. But I mean, that's the beauty of how like this podcast and my food blog has worked, because I've basically pulled on my contact network for people that I've known through young farmers, and we're all doing really well in our own businesses in food and farming. And I know that I can pick up the phone to different people all around the country and go, you know, would you come on a podcast? Would you come on a food blog? And because the beauty of young farmers as well is like the public speaking, the kind of confidence in being able to speak in public, I think has really sort of helped with that, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like I said, the contacts you make for a young farmer, I still deal with them now. And the public speaking, like the chatterbox, I was 4 years running champion. I'm just going to kind of side that one in. It kind of gives you the confidence when you like meeting new people and get yourself, especially when you go for like we did, like chairmanships, when you have to go and meet other clubs and counties and stuff like that, where you get out of your comfort zone, don't you, meet new people. And like you said, then you make really good connections. You know people up and down the country.
Yeah.
And whatnot. So yeah, no, definitely. That's a little bit of a flag for young farmers.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And then when you go to like agricultural shows, it doesn't matter where you go in the country, you know, if you walked into the young farmers tent or the NFU tent or whatever it is, or just walk down the cattle line, you generally know you're going to bump into somebody or be like, oh my goodness, I haven't seen you for years, or you know. And I think that's that, you know, I think you always remember, because not only is it like the skills that you learn, it's the friends and the kind of the parties and the social side of things as well, and
the mindset as well. Because if you're just talking to someone and you mention young farmers and they go, I used to be a young farmer, then automatically, I don't know what it is, I don't know if you found this, but all of a sudden it just kind of mellows a little bit and you feel more connected with them, and then I don't know, you just feel like you know them even though you don't. Because
well,
like, oh yeah, Yeah.
Or it's not very, and then you go, oh, well, in that county, I know X, well, I know that person. Oh, yeah, and it is, it's a little bit, you're never too far away from someone, and it depending on which county you're in. It's,
Definitely.
it's brilliant. Yeah, no, we can harp on about young farmers all day, I'm sure.
Really good.
But anyway, tell me about your backstory. How did you get into farming? Were you born into farming, or, how did it all begin for you, Luke?
I was born into farming. My dad's a farmer. He's got the original family farm. Now, this is where it gets not too complicated, but I come from a very large family farming background, if you like. So dad's got the original family farm, but he's also got a brother that farmed at a Cambridgeshire County tenancy, and his son still farms now. And then another one of dad's cousins, he got the other side of the family farm, and another one there got another tenancy. There used to be my great-granddad's tenancy. Another couple of cousins farm. So you can see like the farming network I just grew up into it. It's the only kind of known, because everyone in my family, there's, apart from one of dad's brothers, which is an accountant, which is useful, but apart from that, the whole family farmed. So we had family gets together. That's all you knew, was just tractors, agriculture. So when I was growing up, obviously obsessed with tractors, and that's all I wanted to do. And then went for college, went to Malton at Northampton, then went to Milton at Cambridge to learn all about agriculture. And then started applying for Cambridgeshire County tenancies. I'd done a little bit in the meantime. I used to grow an acre or two of potatoes and used to sell to local chip shops. Used to have to dig them all by hand, because I used to have the field corners to do them. And I always deliver on a Friday night as well. Make sure I've got cash for the weekend to go to young farmer parties.
Nice, I like it. That's quite entrepreneurial as well, isn't it? It's setting you up, a good sort of mindset, really, isn't it? Kind of work hard, play hard.
I wasn't happy like waiting for the family farm, if you know what I mean, because there was a bit of an age gap, and I knew dad's never going to retire. The people that are just going to keep going and going and going. And dad is one of them. So, and it's not a great. The family farm's dad's family farm's only about 200 acres, just over. So it's not a great big farm either. It's not like I've got 1,000, 2,000 acres to take. So I knew about tenancies because a lot of the family had one. So I started applying for Cambridgeshire County tenancies, but it was. People think because like the family was on the estate anyway, there was just literally, here's Luke, give him a tenancy, if you know what I mean. But there was 56 applicants for my farm, and I was the best one. Even to this day, I got no idea how I did it. I
remember when you got it, because weren't you like one of the youngest people to ever? Yeah.
But then someone else beat me a few years ago by like a month or something. I was 21 when I got the holding.
Yeah.
So the holding was actually 320 acres, and they gave me 180 because I was so young. I split it and then put the rest out to tender for another 3 years. Yeah. But there was me and another guy in it, and he was only a couple of years older than me, actually. He was only about 23, 24. So there was looking for younger applicants at the time. Yeah. Lucky enough, like I said, I got it. But no, I was proper young when I got it. Looking back, I was really young.
Yeah. But for listeners, I mean, a tenancy, I mean, there's different types of tenancies, isn't there? But you got a county. So some counties within the UK have pockets of land that they kind of then basically invite people to tender to farm for a certain period of time. So you don't own the land, but you pay a rent to farm that land for a certain amount of time.
So the Cambridgeshire County Council are actually the biggest council-owned landlords in the country. I should have got the figures, but they've got a ridiculous amount of hectareage, and I think there's nearly 300 tenants. That kind of gives you an idea of how big they are. And there's a lot of other counties that still have land. They sold a lot off, so there is something still tender for. The church has got a fair bit as well. So it's not just it's not just you put in a rent and then an application for. There's business proposals, cash flows, SWOT analysis. There's a whole range of paperwork that you need to do to apply to it. So it's not just a bid, the highest bidder gets it, so to speak. But no, I don't own the farm. I rent it from the county council. All that money goes back in the county council's pot as well. So that pays for schools and all the other services. When I first got the farm when I was 21, I had a 5-year tenancy. That's all they gave me. Yeah. Just afloat and stuff. But then I'm on a 15 years now, so farm business tenancy. But now they've started offering longer tenancies because farming's changing. I think we'll probably get onto that. But it's not just, there's a lot more emphasis on the environment, carbon and stuff, and that's just not an overnight thing you can do.
It's an investment,
investment for a few years. So now actually they started to give longer tenancies. But if anyone hasn't got a family farm to take on or want to get into farming, the county council farms are the best way to get in it, because they don't look at your background. They don't, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't discriminate if you're not a farmer.
Yeah. They give everyone it's an equal opportunities.
Yes.
It is kind of a professional way of kind of inviting people to apply for that opportunity, and it is kind of a stepping stone, isn't it, onto bigger and better things. Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's easy, because it's really not. You really got to have a good head on you, and you've got to know what you want to do, and you've got to come with a proper plan. It's not like, I want to farm, right? What are you going to do it with? And there's no kind of backup, if you know what I mean. So,
there's a lot of risk, isn't there?
Oh, great lot of risk. Great. Even to me now, and I've been established for well over 10 years, there's still risk now in my business. But risk is okay as long as it's a manageable risk. Like potatoes, for instance, I grow some potatoes on my farm. So on my farm, I grow wheat, sugar beet, potatoes, oilseed rape, barley, and a couple of spring crops like spring barley and stuff like that. But the potatoes are the biggest gamble at the minute we have. The potato market is just fluctuates so much compared to anything else. And that is I think that's the mainly driven by supply and demand. So it's not like wheat, where there's always a market for it. People always want it in bread, feed wheat for animals and stuff like that. Potatoes seem to be, if you're not in the process, there's two different types of potato selling, if you like. There's the processing game, which goes to make your frozen chips, your frozen jacket potatoes, stuff like that. And there's the chip shop trade, which I'm still in, which is the old school, your high street fish and chip.
Yeah, bags of spuds. Yeah, jobs are good, and chuck it in the chipper.
That's what I grow for. And that game's with people getting less money. People are not going to chip shops, not buying the chips or fish and stuff. So that always fluctuates on a weekly basis. The process, now people are probably looking, why don't I grow processing? It is more, people always have frozen chips and stuff. The specifications that they want on potatoes is ridiculous. So they want the same kind of size, if you like. They want the same skin colour. They've got to look right. So that's where your wonky veg comes in. They don't want wonky veg. Whereas the chip shop people do not care what they look like. As long as they fry and they're big, that's all they care about.
Yeah.
And then there's always, with the processing game, it's always, you've got contracts, potatoes could be worth more, they're not going to honour it less, and they'll find problems with it. My mate keeps laughing, I've seen the fish and chip game, bagging them. He sells them to processors, he's had boxes go missing, they've had lorry loads go missing, they don't know where they're gone, paid for some tons because it's not been calculated. So, yes, that's a bit of a whistle stop tour of potato game there.
yeah, but it's all part of the bigger picture, isn't it? Because whatever crop you are growing, there's always some element of risk, because you're always trying to manage the weather and the commodity prices, and there's so much that goes into it. It's not just a case of getting a crop in the ground and looking after it and then digging it up and then you get whatever you think you're going to get for it. It doesn't work like that, does it?
No. It doesn't work like that, because people sometimes forget that farmers like myself, we're businesses.
Yeah.
We've got inputs and outputs the same as any other business that we deal with, and sometimes we forget that because of the nostalgia of farming that used to be. Like, I know we're growing food and we need to grow food that people want, but at the same time, if we're not making money out of it, I'm not going to grow it, because I've still got to live and I've still got to turn a profit. But some people just still think like you said, plant it in the ground, harvest time, get a bag of wheat, and then take them to Tesco's. Here's the Tesco's. It's done on the global market. The best way to describe them when I sell a crop it's like sitting at a blackjack table in Vegas. You've got delta price. Do you want to stick today, or do you want to see what happens tomorrow? Because that could go up, that could go down. Yeah. It fluctuates. It could go up a couple of quid. It can go up a tenner. And you think that's not enough on a ton, but when you put it over 1,000 ton, that's a lot of money just come out of nowhere by doing nothing and just waiting an extra day.
And then it, like you said, the quality of the crops as well. Spuds can go really bad really quickly, can't they? You got them in the ground, and if it's too wet, they go all soggy, or and all the disease that and that's just potatoes. It's not even sugar beets, a whole different kettle of fish, isn't it?
Potatoes are the biggest gamble. They're like the gamble crop, if you like. You can make an absolute fortune one year, but people have lost their businesses because the potatoes are not growing. They've gone bad in store, they've gone bad in the ground, the prices dropped dramatically to what they're putting. crop. This year especially. This year, like people have changed now. They've got fridges, if you like. Basically, the shed's been turned into a fridge, and they put the potatoes there. That's all electric, and of course, everyone knows what's happened to the electric bill. And now the electric's worth more than the store of potatoes.
It's absolutely ludicrous, isn't it? And I mean, that's sort of one of those sort of business sense sayings about never put all your eggs in one basket, isn't it? Yeah. Which is why you then grow, not only you grow potatoes, but you grow your sugar beet, you grow your wheat, and then you because you've only got a certain amount of field, you then have a rotation, don't you? So that you're always sort of looking at rotating them to prevent the disease and keep the soil nutrition as well, which is a big thing.
Yeah, definitely. No, so we always have the crop rotation I do a year. This is what we're going about school talks. It like blows the kids' minds. So normally the rotation normally goes wheat, and then or wheat and barley, then followed by root crops. So it could be sugar beet or potatoes, and then we'll go back to wheat, cereal will get in there. This is where it gets complicated. I've got all-seed rape back in it, but all-seed rape I keep 5 to 6 years away from when sugar beet were planted, and vice versa, and the nematodes. Potatoes 1 in 10 years, and then you've got to make sure you're not growing so much of one crop because you need, it might mess you up for a couple of years rotation after that. I know I try to explain it as best I can, but it's so complicated. When you sit in there, it's put a massive jigsaw puzzle together, and you're like, right, if I put that field into this year, then 2 years later, when I wanted that crop, I can't do that anymore. Yeah. So it's really, so when you're sitting there planning, I'm planning my crop rotation. I normally plan like 2 or 3 years ahead, but normally it gets tweaked. If something's not made enough money, then you scale back, like the potatoes. I was planning to do 22, 24 acre this year, but potato price dropped. So therefore my potatoes are gone, like the cash I was going to put into account, so I had to scale that back, plus there's supply and demand. And the same with the sugar beet. Actually, I've upped my acreage, even though this year's been disastrous. I planned it. The sugar beet's a different crop. Do you want me to talk about?
Yeah, exactly.
The beet factory and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So I went around Wissington, and again, the sugar story is something that I'm really passionate about, and I know you are too.
Stuff that people don't think about where sugar comes from. They literally think it's been imported because sugar cane gets a lot of the limelight, if you like. But we grow homemade sugar beet in this country, homemade sugar. So the sugar beet works a little bit different to any other crop that I grow. One, we actually sign a contract direct with British Sugar. I don't do that with any other crops, but that's direct. So I have to grow a certain amount of tonnage. That's my contract. I can't grow over it, and if I can't grow under it. I get paid literally nothing if I go over it. And if I go under it, they base on a 5-year average. So if I don't reach the quota, bang on 5 years, if you like, I don't get offered another one. So we buy the seed direct from British Sugar, and then everything's done even up to harvesting. So I still harvest myself. I get someone in, cut it to the factory. Sugar beet's the only thing we actually store outside as well. Yeah. So it's farmed in a different way. So we have a little bit of different equipment. So we need different drills to drill it. We can't use like corn drill because it's all drilled in rows, so we get sunshine and enough water. And then we harvest it. And the harvest date as well actually goes from when the factory opens to the factory closes. So you've got plenty of time to get it up whenever you want. As long as it fits in with your system, you want wheat after it, they need to get it up sooner and so forth. This year, I don't know if anyone has seen it, but it's been a disastrous year for sugar beet because it's been really cold. Now, normally sugar beet can quite happily cope with them temperatures, but the problem is because it was so dry when we planted and we got no rain, they had no top. So the top was everyone knows that grass didn't grow very well. It's the same with sugar beet. It needs the leaves to then make the sugars. And also when it comes to cold weather, to protect it, half the sugar beet, well, nearly 3/4 of sugar beet's underground. It's just the top little bit that pokes out. Yeah. And unfortunately this year, because we didn't have enough top, it all died back. The frost actually got inside of the sugar beet and started freezing it inside out. If it froze the other way, it would have been a problem that the sugar beet factory can process it. They can process frozen beet. But the minute, I think, because there's so much frozen beet going in from the inside out, there's not enough sugar to take out. The loads are actually getting rejected and they're not buying them. But luckily enough, the NFU negotiated a policy a few years back, whereas this happened, it's been happening quite regularly, more than just this year. But there was no backup for us. So as soon as the beet got frozen, that was it. We lost that crop. Yeah. And then it affected our delivery to the factory because they didn't take that in consideration. So the NFU actually negotiated with British Sugar to get a policy in place. Yeah. Which really, we're talking about when these beets got frozen and we couldn't send to British Sugar. We're only talking that was only worth 19 quid a tonne. The sugar beet game's crazy. Back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, it was really good crop. I mean, for the 90s. Then getting into when I just left school, it started slipping down. British Sugar didn't want to pay the growers enough to grow the beet. You can actually buy quota at the time. So if you wanted quota, you had to go and buy the quota, the same as milk.
Yeah.
Then that all went out because British Sugar kept driving the price down. Everyone went, we're not going to grow it anymore.
Yeah.
Then they started realising we're losing sugar beet growers, so they had to roll that bit and start offering more money. And actually, we are getting more money now than what we did back in the day. So it's a really weird game.
Yeah, but it's good that you've got that kind of almost insurance policy now, so that if it, so you do get compensated. But the weather has been, cold then mild, then cold then mild, and that's just played absolute havoc. And like you say, if you've got a little garden or what have you, you will have noticed that anyway. And I grow a small amount of crops in my veg garden, and just like kale and Brussels sprouts and things like that. And I mean, that's gone cold, and then because it's gone mild so quickly, it's just gone all mushy, because the frost has got in, and they can withstand those cold environments. They're used to that, but because the temperature is so up and down all the time, we haven't just had a long period of cold. It's just been very, very changeable, which is all part of climate change, isn't it? And what we're all trying to navigate our way through in our own businesses. So let's move on to some of the projects that you're involved with. So you get involved with a lot of projects engaging school children in where their food comes from. Tell me a little bit more about that. You've alluded to it already, but it'd just be nice for the listeners to know.
It is a massive passion of mine, is getting kids to know where their food comes from. I got involved, funny enough, my mum actually works in a school. She's a teacher. She's a preschool practitioner. And this is where it's all kind of, Dad used to go in every year with the tractor and just do a brief what we do on the farm and stuff. And I done it one year. I'd done it slightly different to what Dad done. And I thought, actually, I like this. And some of the kids didn't quite know where their food comes from. And the more you delve into it, the more kids and sometimes the general public are disconnected with where food comes from. They basically, the thoughts are food needs to be cheap and available, and they don't really care where it comes from as long as it's in the fridge and they can get hold of it. And also, as well, what really drives me even more was when you go around a supermarket, there's not many families shopping together. Not many people take the kids with them. They don't go with the kids after work to go shopping. It's more of a chore now than what it was back in the day when they kind of, you selected the produce. And some kids don't even know now. Like, there's an old joke about where does food come from? Where do potatoes grow? They always go to the supermarket. Well, that joke's kind of not funny anymore. We click and collect. People get it delivered late on when the kids are in bed. So literally, they open the cupboard door. There's the food.
There's food.
And I started on that, and then there's another organisation called Kids Country with the East of England Showground that asked us to come and do some, just come and help them, just do some stuff on a microphone. They have a massive event every year. I got involved in that, and they said, do you want to come to a couple of events we put on? And I was like, yeah, can do. One of them was the potato day, so we plant potatoes with the children, and I show them how it's grown and watering, how to care for it. And they do breakfast week as well, where they go into schools and we explain just breakfast stuff. So I explained wheat, how I grow it on my farm. And kind of that's when it started. And I started doing some talks by myself and emailing schools to see if they want me to come and do it. And like I said, it's a bit worrying how much children don't know about food. They love tractors. They love finding out where stuff comes from, especially when they're younger. Because I've got a young kid. We're buying him clothing. There's loads of tractor stuff. There's loads of toys, animals.
Tractor Ted,
And then when they get school age, all of a sudden it just disappears. And there's nothing after that. And that's why I like to come in. I do talks to younger kids, so 5 to 11 and then 11 to 16. So I'll separate them because they get different talks. So with the younger kids, with Farmer Luke and Kids Country, I do the 5 to 11-year-olds. They get the whole, this is how we farm. So they get me, what crops I grow on my farm. I normally talk about wheat, sugar beet, and potatoes because they're the most easiest items they can think in their brain. Now, I always say I start off growing wheat. The journey of wheat always starts with a farmer on a tractor and a plough. Now, I take some scale models in with me.
Yep.
So I've got some little Britain scale little toys. I do take a tractor, but it's hard to get a combine into school.
Wait for it by the gates,
I take a little mini combine so they know, so they can see it working in an imaginary field, if you like. So I say that we always plough the crop in, plough the fields. Now, many people listen to this or know a little about agriculture. We don't do that anymore. So I've had several conversations with people saying you shouldn't tell the kids that. But my argument is they've just literally read The Little Red Hen. There's no little books about agriculture. The farmer ploughs the field. So therefore, in their mind, I'm ploughing the fields. So I show them how we grow, then I get them a little drill out, and then I explain about sunshine and rain, what do plants need to grow, then harvest them, and then we see what it turns into, so the wheat goes to flour, make bread and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, I separate the older kids because the older kids get a different talk now.
Yeah.
Whenever I go for the kids, they don't get the scale models anymore. And I do a lot of this with NFU education as well. So we go in and actually explain what we actually do as farmers. So now we're bringing in what we do for the climate. So we just said about what we're doing for climate change. So we've got the carbon. We don't actually move the soil as much as we want now. Variable rate seed, variable rate fertilizer spreaders, showing maps of drones that have been put up and where we plant, and then crop rotations. It just like the how we sell crops in the global markets, graphs and stuff like that. It just blows their mind.
Yeah.
More thinking about where their food comes from as well. So, and also some of it is to tackle some of the false information that's out.
Yes.
It's nothing more frustrating when you read something on social media like, well, that's not true, but then people think that it is. So there's a lot of going in, especially with NFU education, going in to explain, actually, don't believe any real facts you hear just because this says that. It's the same when you're buying your phone. If they said that this particular phone's awesome, brilliant, do you believe it or do you read reviews?
Yeah, exactly.
It says about your food and where the food comes from. You're going to just double check that to make sure that they're not lying.
Yeah, and that's so important because it's young, impressionable minds, isn't it? And it's kind of like, I always sort of think back to, how I was brought up, and some of the things that I do with my children is what our parents did. And so if it's sort of ingrained in them at this sort of age, then it's they are very impressionable. And I think talking to children about farming and food production, you're applying science, you're looking at business, there's the maths element, there's the physics, there's the chemistry, there's all those different things. And not only from a kind of understanding how food is produced, but also inspiring the next generation to actually think they might not be born into farming, but it is a career option for them.
Oh, definitely. I do 100% get that, especially with the older kids. Like when I start with the older kids, I hate to think I'm there to lecture them. Like also at the start, like they're old enough now, like they're normally around 13 or upwards. It's like, right, you're turning into adults here. I'm not coming with a load of propaganda because I grow crops, and when we're on about livestock and stuff like that, I said it's literally none of my concern whether you're eating them or not. Yeah. I mean, you can all make your own mind up. You've all got the right to do what you want, but just don't take stuff at face value. Dig a bit deeper, and don't feel bad about eating meat either. I think locally sourced, especially from any British beef you buy, lamb, pork, it's all done in a sustainable way. It's different to what it is. So do drop down your meat-free days if it's coming from outside of the UK, because that's brought, the coronated chicken, and then we've got the Brazilian beef that they're cutting down trees and stuff like that. Yeah, you cut down that, but don't feel bad about it. And like I said, you're all adults. You're all making conscious decisions, whether or not you don't think it now. It's brilliant when I do it with someone else, because then we go in with two people, and sometimes paired up male, female, doesn't matter. I like when I go in with someone that doesn't look like a farmer. Like myself, I like to think. So the first thing I ask, like, everyone close their eyes, picture a farmer, then open them. Do you think it's going to be me? Or I did it with another a girl, Connie Reeves, and it's like, well, do you think the farmer looks like her? And they're all like, no, you look nothing like we thought it was going to do. So there's a bit of breaking the stereotypes in there as well. And then going back to the careers as well, I put out a tweet, I don't know if anyone saw it. I'd done a talk on careers in agriculture, and I wanted to know, like, I could have wrote a list about careers that I thought of. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I want to know, if you're in agriculture, tell me what you do and why you love it. Yeah. And I had 117 or 118 responses. Yeah. All right. Nearly 70 of them were dairy farmers, because they really like shouting about their dairy farms. Yeah. But there's other jobs that you didn't think about. And one that really stuck in my mind was there's a lady from the Institution of Research Studies, I can't remember what the university is now, it's gone, but her job was to get funding into research into agricultural projects, going into disease and different ways of farming and climate, the way carbon and stuff. That was her job, to get money to make sure there's enough to do the research. Just a little job like that, you don't think affects my business, but it does.
Yeah.
Like, I hate the phrase "thank a farmer." Hate the phrase. Now, I'm going to explain this because I only grow the stuff. That's all I do. I get the seed, put in the ground, tender it, and then there's people before me that start the chain off.
Yeah.
Then after me that carry the chain on. So I'm only part of the chain. So when people say "thank a farmer for your food," it's like, well, no, you need to thank the seed.
The whole team. Yeah.
Yeah, the lorry driver that brought it, the research that went into creating that seed. Just the admin to get the bills there, and then the agronomist, grain merchant who I sell it to, then they sell it to someone else. There's just a whole range of, even people like you do, like podcasts, like yourself. You listen to a podcast, wait a minute, that's a better idea. I can do it that way. Just that influenced me to make the food. There's a whole range of us. It's not just the farmer. Yeah. That's why I really hate when I see them saying, like, no.
If you ate today, thank a farmer. It's like, I totally get that. It's there is a bigger team that are kind of that forms part of our industry, and it is trying to promote the diversity and different career opportunities. And the way that you can get into those industries as well, because you don't have to be born into agriculture. I mean, I'm one of those that, although I grew up in a rural area, I wasn't, I married a farmer and live on a farm, but actually I always joke that I'm the farm diversification, because I know, I can talk the talk and walk the walk, and I have my own pigs, and I've produced my own food, but actually I very much enjoy promoting the industry and talking to people about the importance of buying British and backing British farming, because again, it's kind of, a lot of farmers are so busy doing the do in terms of growing the crops or what have you, that actually they sometimes get a bit either complacent or too busy. But I think we are getting better, at obviously telling the story. And I mean, you're a classic example of, being on social media, doing your videos, and, you're doing incredible work on TikTok, for example, aren't you? Yeah. These videos that I had a quick look, like one video got over 1 million impressions, didn't it?
Yeah. I got some really TikTok's a funny one. I started doing this through lockdown. Yeah. And if you're education, put out a tweet. If you're doing something on the farm, let us know, and just show some videos so we can get these into school. So I was doing my school talks anyway. So I thought, wow, I can't get to school. This is a brilliant idea. I'll do this. So I like showing what we do on a farm and how we do it. Very basic stuff. So there's a lot of, look at my tractor, press this button, it does that. And then a bit of life on the farm and stuff like that. And when I got into schools and stuff, I always joke, I'm on social media, find me, Farmer Luke, look for me. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, wherever it was. And this group of girls walked by and just laughed. Hey, Facebook's for your mum. What? Get it. Come back. Come back. They're like, what? And I was like, what do you mean it's for your mum? And they said about, well, my mum's on Facebook, we don't go on that. I was like, what about Instagram? No, it's a bit too flashy. It's a bit too for us. And I was like, all right, so what do you look at? TikTok. What? Oh, I love TikTok. So anyway, I got home that night, I looked through TikTok, and I was absolutely horrified at some of the videos that are on there around agriculture. Now, there is some really good people on TikTok. I'm not bashing the app at all. But there's some younger kids that are like, going back to teenagers that are in agriculture, they're very impressionable, driving tractors with the door open, hanging out the door. I was like, this is not what British agriculture is about. And this is where we have to get slightly better. Like you just said a minute ago about promoting ourselves. I truly believe that British agriculture should look at itself as a brand. Now, what I mean by that is you don't see any other brand, like Coca-Cola, for instance, letting their workers do silly stuff, take videos in the factory that aren't approved by themselves. So, like, showing how the Coke cans have, made and stuff like that. And if there's anything dangerous in the background, that video gets shut down. And I really think British agriculture should kind of be the same. I'm not saying to be harsh, but look at itself that we are a brand to the British consumer. We're not just individuals who we are British farming. Yeah. And all these videos, and I thought that don't represent us very well. And I knew that the youngsters watch it and they're impressioned by it. I was like, right, let's go. I'm going to do exactly the same as what I do in my videos, but try and do it in a TikTok style.
Yeah.
I haven't jumped on any trends yet with any dances. Thank God.
No, I don't think you need to do that though. That's what I always say. Oh God, it annoys me so much when people have to feel like they have to jump around in a yard with a bit of blue pipe or something to some I think no, actually, you're being quite informative and engaging, and you're talking about what does this machine do, and I saw recently you've done some about or you've had some arguments with your dad or your brother, that's kind of like farming the way, and the challenges you have on the day to day. And I was like, I know, yeah.
Work with family, that's hilarious. So I do like chucking a bit of humour in there occasionally, just showing what it's actually like to be a farmer, if you like. Again, trying to break the stereotype that people don't really know about. We kind of set in our ways, grumpy, so to speak, or like we don't know what we're doing and stuff. You know what I mean? So I thought if I chuck a little bit of that in, it kind of makes it.
No, and I think that really resonates. I think that's why you're doing so well, and that you're getting a good good following from it and a lot of engagement. So that's what it's all about. It's just, it just takes the time to build up that following, and editing your videos, and it's not like you can just sort of stick it up there and be like, oh yeah, that'll do. There's so much more to it in this day and age, isn't there?
I enjoy doing it as well, because I know TikTok, you've got like 3 seconds to hook them in. If you don't hook a viewer in, that's it, you're gone. So the 3 seconds to hook them in, and then the rest of the video you've got to keep them entertained as well. And that's why I like kind of doing that short format, because you need to show exactly what you want, get the right information out there, and to make sure that's the message you want to send, if you know what I mean. So that's the bit that I really am. I wouldn't say addicted to, if you like.
Yeah, it is a bit of it. Yeah,
it's great, because you're kind of trying to beat yourself to make sure that you can do it. And if you get the viewers, that you've done something right. I know it's all a lot about viewers, but that you've hit a subject there.
Yeah.
Kind of well to show like the downside of farming as well on there, like the sugar beet, which is alluded to. I done a video about that and about why the crop's kind of gone. Yes, I've got a load of people that said gave me some advice, so to speak. The only way to give advice on the internet.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I know I'm doing quite well, because I've only had, I don't know if it's bad or not, I've only had 2 people that disagreed with me on something. Apart from that, everyone's kind of commented, everything's been positive. Apart from 2 people. One, how do you drive a tractor? I compared it to like driving a car. That didn't go down a tree. Apparently it's nothing like a car. Well, in my mind, people have never set foot in a tractor before. There's a steering wheel, clutch, brakes, and this one I had gears. To my mind, that is the simplest way to explain to someone it's a car.
Yeah.
That particular chap did not get it at all.
You're never going to win everyone, though, are you? I think,
No, especially when I try to limit myself to a minute at least, or less. I can't go into how many, there's 1,000 gears on a tractor. Yeah, what before? And then you've got to spend another 10 seconds explaining.
Yeah, but I suppose it then makes you think about the content that you can create, or then think, I'll do something more about that, because it will lead me down that avenue. But no, I mean, you're doing amazing work on, and I think it's inspiring to encourage other people to kind of tune in and what have you.
I really appreciate when someone from the industry or works on a farm says that, because they know what I'm on about. Like I'm doing such basic stuff. They know exactly what I'm on about. I'm not groundbreaking. I'm not saying anything groundbreaking or anything new they don't know. So when they say, actually, I watch your videos and I find it quite funny. I love that. It's like, you don't have to watch them, if you know what I mean. You've got a choice not to, because I'm doing something you've just done, or you're doing at the minute, and you're watching my video where you sat on a tractor. Like.
Yeah. No, absolutely. No, I think keeping it simple is often the best way, because then that's how, you do. You are stopping the scroll. You're thinking, and people get to know who you are, and, things like that, and aligning yourself with certain groups and organisations is brilliant. Let's talk about cooking. Do you enjoy cooking?
I do enjoy cooking, actually, funny enough. I really do.
Brilliant.
I do. We have we have a Sunday where we sometimes do a roast, or we do something a little bit different. Yeah. Wherever that might be, we put a little bit more effort into it, because we're the same as everyone else, alluding back to shopping and cooking and stuff. People have got busier lives. You see, they come with recipes. Even when I get home, we've got young children, they want to be fed, and you know what children are like now. They can't wait. And me and the wife, we don't have a schedule at all, so we don't take it in turns to cook. We have this really weird thing where whoever kind of comes home first kind of starts, and then probably the other person will just take over for a minute or two, and then they'll disappear, and then someone else will finish it off. Or something like last night we were doing spaghetti bolognese, and I cut the stuff up, and then I went off to go and sort out the kid, and then Karen carried on, and then I come back and finish something off and put something else in the oven, and it's just it's a really weird system we've got. It's not like right Tuesday you're cooking. It just seems to be with kind of going together for it, if you like, and just one takes over, then one don't. And yeah, so it's really weird. But no, I do really enjoy cooking. I like to think I'm a half decent chef as well, believe it or not.
Oh, very good. So what would be your repertoire then? So you're obviously quite au fait at spaghetti bolognese. What else is on the Abblitt menu of a week?
Lasagna. We eat a lot of potatoes. A lot of potatoes. Jacket potatoes and sausages is our kind of go-to what we're going to have meal. You know, so we have a lot of them, cottage pies. The real old school stuff.
Traditional stuff, Yeah,
we go back to when we were younger, that's what we had. I mean, I went off potatoes for a while because I was force-fed so much as a child. when I was on like a make myself tea and stuff like that, it's like, I'm really sick of potatoes.
Yeah.
But now I love them again, and I've got to think it's something to do with my mother, because I've got to say, she's probably going to listen to this. She's a terrible cook. She's an absolute terrible cook. She doesn't like cooking. She doesn't really do it. So we go around every Tuesday night because Mum looks after my child on a Tuesday. We go around for tea afterwards.
Nice.
And it's guess what it is, and it's just swimming in water and stuff. But no, go back to that.
Oh, poor Mum.
No, seriously, I don't care. She's terrible. In fact, I've even said, let's just do fish and chip Tuesdays when we go to the chip shop.
Yeah.
But, we try to have a Sunday roast as well as a Sunday. We love a roast in this house. Toad in the hole, you name it, we try. Even though if there's a cooking show on TV and stuff, I stop and watch it.
Yeah.
I just can't flick by it and just watch what they're doing.
Yeah, I know, but that's important because, I mean, that's sort of the whole premise of this podcast on my food blog. It's kind of like no first meals for busy parents. So it's kind of knowing about what is produced in this country and inspiring people with easy recipes that you can follow. That, everyone is busy in this day and age. There's too much going on, but you want to eat well and you don't want to eat processed food all the time. So, just being able to sort of chuck it all together and then, you've got a nice meal and you can feed your family. I mean, that to me is what I find, hugely important, which is kind of what motivates me to kind of do all of this sort of stuff. So.
Definitely. Like Jack, my son, actually come up in a bit of a rash around his face the other week. And we was at nursery and they had a spaghetti bolognese, funny enough. Okay, I'll tell you, I keep mentioning spaghetti bolognese.
Yeah, it was a tomato in it.
No, they had the sauce from Asda sauce or wherever it was, and he come up in a rash. It's like, we've had tomatoes before because we've done it, but we're too... we don't buy the sauces. It's so much easier just to make it at home and not more effort.
Yeah.
So we do that. We never really buy sauces. We just make our own.
Yeah.
So we don't know whether there's something in there that's an additive he's not used to or whatever. But no, you said about putting meals together from scratch. I mean, we're not exactly... I'm not standing here saying we're holier than thou at all, because we had a frozen pizza the other night. No. We still got freezer in the stuff as an emergency. But
same. Yeah, exactly. We always have alpha bites or, and fish fingers and, stuff that is, because you're not superhuman and sometimes, you do need to shove things in the oven and be quick. You have got busy lives, but if you kind of, it's for me, it's always about promoting the hero ingredients, isn't it? Thinking about sausage or leeks or whatever it is, and kind of thinking and meal planning as well. I'm getting better at meal planning actually, because I just can't think straight sometimes. I think, oh well, what am I going to cook tonight? And like right now, if I know what I've got in, and I can kind of plan and work out, on the days where the kids are at after school club, so I don't need to feed them. So and Andrew and I can have something a bit more spicy or just stuff like that. I think and that helps with food waste as well, because then
planning is the biggest thing with us. Is we plan meals, and then if something comes up, I don't get home later, or Carolyn don't get home, and also I whack the meal out of bounds. That is the biggest thing for us when we're about food waste or not keeping on track. It's something that comes up at night where you're like, well, I wasn't planning for that. Well, I've got eating tonight, and it's like, well, you never said no. I only got organised this morning. Well, that's just because we don't want to. We're cooked quite happily for as a family. We all sit at the table. That's one thing that me and Carolyn is set on. We sit at the table, we eat together. We've done that even when we was first together, and the same even more with our son. We sit at the table with him. We don't let him have his meal. He sits with us. We have it with him. So it's even harder now, like when I go out or Karen goes out, when it's only just me and Jack, it's like, well, what do we do? Like, that's kind of real prep out. So therefore, that's where the fish fingers come out. Or
Yeah, something quick and easy. So definitely. How can people find out more about you then, Luke? Tell us your social media handles so people can follow you.
Right, here we go. I'm on Facebook, Down on Dainty Farm. I'm on Instagram, Down on Dainty Farm. TikTok, Down on Dainty Farm. Twitter, on Dainty Farm, because I couldn't fit Down on Dainty Farm.
Yeah.
And I'm on YouTube as well. I will upload some more videos on YouTube when I get around to it. It's kind of cutting it and stuff like that, put it together and finding content that's funny. But I still try and do reels because I think that's the best way to get the British message across and what we actually do on the farm is under. Any more than that, people get bored. I get bored.
Definitely. And I'll put all the links in the show notes as well so people can kind of click on there as well and find you. But here are some time-saving hacks for you to try at home. So I'm mixing it up, and instead of a time-saving hack this week, I'm giving you a budget-saving hack. We are all feeling the pinch right now and thinking about how and where we spend our money. I came across a super tasty recipe from the Ladies and Pigs for sausage and cheese breakfast muffins, which uses vegetable oil instead of butter. So you'll need 500 grams of plain flour. I use a gluten-free version as I'm gluten intolerant. 170 grams of grated cheese, 400 grams of cooked sausage meat, 4 eggs, 330 mils of milk, and then some baking powder, a little bit of xanthan gum, again, because I'm gluten intolerant. You don't need to use that if you're normal and don't have dietary requirements. And then instead of the butter, you use 75 mils of vegetable oil. And so the recipe it's super easy. I will put it in the show notes. But you basically combine the wet ingredients together, the dry ingredients together, then put it all together into little muffin cases, put it in the oven for 12 to 15 minutes until they're sort of golden brown. And they just make like really nice, like savory cakes that you can have at breakfast or at lunch. You can freeze them, you can use them whenever. They're also quite good for lunch boxes as well for the kids or for the dads. You know, it's a really, really easy meal. And yeah, so using vegetable oil instead of your butter seems to be quite a nice budget saving hack. So just give that a go. I mean, I've tried it with a few cakes as well, and actually it works quite well. And I've actually, if you look on my No Fuss Meals for Busy Parents food blog, I've got an easy peasy tea cake recipe. And that doesn't use any fat at all. And that's a case of just throwing it all in a bowl, mixing it, putting it in the oven for an hour, jobs are good. And so that's my style of cooking. In season right now, April time, asparagus, spring onions, Jersey Royals, spring greens. All of this produce is packed full of goodness and grown here in the British Isles. I actually grow asparagus, I grow salad potatoes and spring greens, and there is nothing more satisfying than going to the bottom of the garden and digging up my own produce. And you can do it too. Even if you have a small window box, you can grow spring onions, some herbs, or some potatoes in a potato sack. Or when you're heading to do your weekly shop, look for the red tractor logo on the packaging. Some farmers and food producers sell direct from the farm gate or a farm shop. So take the time to know what's in your local area and support those small businesses with purchasing some hero ingredients like salad potatoes, asparagus, or spring greens, or like Luke with his chipped potatoes. Asparagus is super tasty in a risotto or pan fried with a piece of meat or fish. Salad potatoes, once boiled up, can be eaten hot or cold as part of a salad or an accompaniment to meat and 2 veg. How does that sound, Luke?
That's really great. Anything from Ladies and Pigs, I'm all over. I've worked with them before. They come into schools with us in breakfast week. They're the ones that do the sausages. They come down and explain to kids. I think they're all brilliant. I've met a fair few of them. They're lovely. Anything that they say goes, especially Debbie. She's listening.
No, Debbie don't. I've been doing a lot of work with Debbie. No, Ladies and Pigs is a brilliant organisation. It's basically a group of women who are involved in the pig industry who, again, work to help inspire and educate children in schools, but anyone to kind of really understand what you can do with pork and, feed your family. Okay, that's all we got time for today. Don't forget to tune into the next episode of the Countryside Kitchen Meets on the 1st of each month. You can subscribe on all of the major podcast streaming platforms and get in touch. Would you like to be on a future episode? How about sponsoring a future episode? Want to chat to me about what you do and share some recipes too? Drop me a line at hello@millie5.com. And you can also follow my food blog, No Fuss Meals for Busy Parents, on Facebook, Instagram, and at www.nofussmealsforbusyparents.com for more top tips, time-saving hacks, and recipe ideas. Luke, thank you so much. I very much have enjoyed learning about all the incredible projects you're involved with. And I know the listeners will have taken so much from this interview. So thank you. Keep up the amazing work.
Thank you. I hope I didn't ramble too much.
No, you've been amazing. You've been amazing. Thank you so much. Right, that's all we got time for. See you soon.